Hi Year 5. You should have now received a copy of Stormbreaker, a copy of the Nowhere Emporium, a stationery pack, a work pack to match each day's learning, and two exercise books. You have got a yellow small maths book for doing all of your maths working, and you have got a pink workbook for doing English reading and topic. Don't forget, I'll be collecting your work from your home on a Friday afternoon. So, this is our first maths lesson today, and I will show you our Foursquare. So this is today's Foursquare. I haven't done our usual setup of yesterday, last year, etc. because obviously we haven't been in. So I've just picked the four operations. And if you turn to the back of your yellow maths book, you'll see this is already stuck in for you. So give them a go and do your working out underneath. And then when you've done that, you can come back and join this main lesson. So today, it is the 11th of the 1st, 2021, and your target is I can identify equivalent fractions. So we are turning back to the front of our yellow book and writing that date and target and making sure it's underlined and nice and neat and tidy. Don't worry if you don't quite know what that target means yet, because we're going to pick it apart as part of the main lesson. So, my first question today is, what is a fraction? Do you know what a fraction is? What do you think of when I say the word fraction? And now I'm going to tell you what one is. A fraction, very simply put, is a part of something. So let's take a look what Miss Bennett means. For example, this is one whole. It's one pizza. One full pizza. It's one. Yeah? Now, on the next slide, you can see that the pizza has been split into two equal pieces. I'm sure you all know now from younger year groups that it is now in halves. We have split that equally in half, two equal pieces. So now I've only got one part of that. See how a fraction is a part of something? And as a fraction, when it's written, it looks like this. The bottom number, which is known as the denominator, is how many equal pieces it has been split into. And the top number, the numerator, is how many pieces are left. So there's one piece left that you have, but it was originally cut into two pieces. And that line in the middle of the fraction actually means divide, and we'll look at that as well. So next up, just a little diagram there to show you what a third means and what a quarter means, and it means how many pieces it's been split into. And I'm sure you'll all have seen one of these before, a fraction wall, where you can see the whole at the top, one, and then it's split into two pieces, halves, three pieces, thirds, and that's just what. Do you know what equivalent means? Now, have a little think, because it is in our target. Equivalent means equal or the same. So if you remember the target, it was to identify fractions that are equivalent. So today we are looking at fractions that look different, but they are actually the same. So if we have a look at the next slide, you can see that 1/3 is equivalent, is the same as 2/6. Because if you look at the way those circles are divided, you would be getting the same amount if you got 1 out of 3 or if you got 2 out of 6, because if you cut your cake into 6 pieces, the pieces are smaller. So 2 pieces out of 6 is the same as 1 piece out of 3. Let's look at the next one. 2/3 is the same as 4/6, and you can see that from the diagram. And notice the diagrams are all split into equal pieces because fractions are always equal pieces. 1/4 is equivalent to 2/8, and 3/4 is equivalent to 6/8. And you can see that from the diagrams. And there is a simple way of doing this. Whatever you do to the top, you must do to the bottom. Okay? So I've said let's have a look at some examples together. I haven't got a board in front of me, so I'm going to talk you through some examples. So for example, if I have 1/3, so 1/3, I need to times the top by something. So I'm going to pick 5 times 5. and I'm going to times the bottom by exactly the same, because remember, whatever you do to the top, you must do to the bottom. So I've multiplied the top by 5. So 1 multiplied by 5 is 5. 3 multiplied by 5 is 15. So 1/3 is equivalent to 5/15ths, and that's because I've done the same to the top as the bottom. Now I'm going to let you have a little go with a little task, and again you can just do this at the back of your jotter. Can you write 1/2 in 3 different ways? So we know that 1/2 is 1 as the numerator and 2 as the denominator. Can you do something to the top, multiply it by something, and something to the bottom, multiply it by something, and find 3 different ways of writing 1/2? Right, I hope you managed to do that, Year 5. Try not to be panicking too much. This is only our first lesson, okay? Now, I'm going to talk you through the type of questions you will get on your worksheet, okay? So, the first, it's all fluency today. We're not going to do any reasoning and problem solving. I want you to get secure in knowing the operation and what to do, alright? So, here's our first type of question. It says, fill in the missing division. So, you can see that the arrows are going backwards. You've got 2/5 and 4/10, which are both equivalent because they've done the same to the top as the bottom. Now, the only difference this time is it's going backwards. So if it's multiplying going forwards, it's going to be dividing going backwards. So what's happened to 4 to get the 2? What have we divided it by? Have a think. And what's happened to 10 to get to 5? What have we had to divide it by? And I hope you are all shouting at your computer screens saying that they have been divided by 2. And all you would have to do for that question is to write it out and then write 2 instead of the question marks. So I hope that style is really quite straightforward. Okay, the next slide, the next type of question, I think lots of you will think, oh my goodness, I don't know how to do that, but let me explain. So, it says colour 3/9 of each shape. So we know that the denominator is how many pieces it is cut into. But if you count up the squares in the first shape, if you count in threes, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, there's actually 18 rectangles there. We don't have it cut into 9, we have it cut into 18. So on my piece of paper, I've already noted down 3/9 equals something over 18. What have I done to 9 to get 18? What have I multiplied 9 by? I've doubled it. I've multiplied by 2. So if I've multiplied the denominator by 2, I must do exactly the same to my numerator. So I need to do 3, because we're doing 3/9, remember, multiplied by 2. 3 multiplied by 2 is 6. So an equivalent fraction for 3/9 is 6/18. So how many squares do I need to colour in? I need to colour in 6 squares. Okay? And then we're doing exactly the same thing, but this time I need 3/9 again, so I've written that down on my piece of paper, equals, but this time my shape's split into only 3. And I need to think, what have I done to 9 to get 3? So my denominator's 9 and I need it to be 3. This time it's getting smaller, so I know it's going to have to be a division. So 9 divided by what is 3? It's 3, yeah. 9 divided by 3 is 3. So my numerator must do exactly the same. 3 divided by what is 3 divided by 3 is, how many 3's fit in the 3? Simply 1. So 3/9 is equivalent to 1/3. So I would be colouring in just one of the shapes. Hope that makes sense. Okay. And then there's one more style of question, which looks like this. Oh, sorry, there's one more as well. I'll talk you through both of them. So this one, it says, colour the second image to show an equivalent form. So the first square, I need to work out what fraction is shaded. So you need to count up how many is that first rectangle split into. So count them up. and I believe it's 15. So I'm putting 15 as my denominator, my bottom number. And then I need to count how many are shaded in. And there are 5 blue squares, so there's 5 shaded in. So that first diagram is 5 out of 15. So if you see the box underneath, I'm going to write 5 out of 15. And I need to find an equivalent fraction, but this time it's split into 3. So my denominator is 3. What have I done to 15 to get 3? I've divided it by 5. So if I've divided the denominator by 5, I need to divide the numerator by 5. 5 divided by 5 is simply 1. So 5/15 is equivalent to 1/3. So I'd be colouring in one of the rectangles. I hope that makes sense. And finally, this one really is the last type of question you have got. Match the equivalent fractions. So I have got 2/5 on one side, and I need to find which one on the right hand side is equivalent equal to 2/5. So I have to do the same to the top as the bottom. Now, what have I done to 2 to get 9? Well, that's going to start going into halves and things, and that's complicated. So I don't think it's going to be that one. Let's go down to check the next one. 2/5, could it be equivalent to 2/3? Well, what's happened to the numerators? Nothing. 2 stayed the same. So hopefully the bottom numbers have stayed the same, 5 and 3. No, that is not equivalent. So we are hoping that the last one on the right, the bottom hand side, is going to match up. What have I done to 5 to get 15? I've multiplied that by 3. What is 2 multiplied by 3? 6. 6/15. So the first one must match with the bottom one. And then you have got 1/11. What have I done to 1 to get 9? I've multiplied it by 9. What have I done to 11 to get 99? I've multiplied it by 9. So that one matches up. So we are hoping this last one is going to match up. 6/9 and 2/3. What have I done to 6 to get 2? I've divided by 3. And what have I done to 9 to get 3? I've divided by 3. So you're going to match them up. Okay? I have given you a pack with the worksheet in of just them type of questions, them 4 questions, but with different fractions. If you need any help, drop me an email, Year 5. I know this is tricky. It's our first lesson on fractions. Don't be panicking. Take your time and just give it a good go. Okay, thanks, Year 5. All these fractions. 4 pieces as quarters, 5 pieces as fifths, 6 is 6 pieces, 7ths, 8ths, 9ths, 10ths, 11ths, 12ths. Yeah, so that's a fraction more which we will be using in our lessons as we progress. So